as you know, a lot of people who might be watching this, there'll be, people in your world, people in Rotolo Associates world. So many of them have an interest and are always learning about philanthropy and how the pandemic impacted philanthropy, and even thinking about our clients, each one was different. We had to deal with them from the point that they were at, their reality. We had to deal with their reality. Anything that you think either you learned and you want to share or talk about relative to that?
Yeah, I guess what I would say is I think both institutions appreciated the level of sensitivity that had to happen, in the spring and summer of last year. I mean, the world, I hate using this, but the world was sort of falling apart, and there was no real light at the end of the tunnel. And as I said before, I think that has improved a lot. On the campaign planning side of it, I mean, the reason why organizations have campaigns is to support those institutions for the foreseeable future, right? It's to raise capital dollars, and whether that's building projects or financial aid or academic pursuits, all of those are important to the vibrancy of these organizations at the end of the day. I'll talk a little bit about BJP just because, I think about what a school that's a small school with very limited resources was able to do through this period of time. You look at where we were in March on the cusp of trying to launch a capital campaign that was really going to set us up for the future. And you look at where we are today, in a 8 to 9 month period of time, they were able to pivot their entire curriculum online and teach our students remotely. We had already decided that we were moving the physical space that we were in because we were renovating a new physical space, and contending with that construction, throughout the pandemic, has been interesting, but they were able to do it. They then had to work all summer to think through reopening plans so that we could bring our students back onto our new campus, safely. And on top of that, we had to figure out a way to fund it. So you kind of put that all in the blender, and you sit there and say, for a school like BJP, small school, limited resources, but they're able to corral, whether it's their existing team or volunteers to get this done. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And the fact that, even in this current school year, we've had fits and starts. We had to open late because of New York State. We were open for a couple of weeks. We got shut down because of clusters that were popping up in Brooklyn. We're now open back up again. And through it, this school is figuring out a way to, sustain itself and survive is pretty awesome. And I think it actually gives the campaign in that specific situation so much more energy and momentum, because we're proving out to people day in and day out what we can do with resources, once we ultimately have them.
Yeah.